Welcome to Strange Hour Stories, where darkness unveils its secrets. In the dead of night, when the world sleeps, extraordinary tales come alive, weaving a tapestry of enigma and wonder. Here, we gather to explore the untold, the inexplicable, and the chilling. Brace yourself for a journey into the shadows, where reality and fantasy intertwine. With each story, we'll immerse ourselves in a new tale, where ordinary lives collide with the extraordinary, and where the impossible becomes possible. Join us as we venture through the dark alleys of imagination, peering into the depths of the human psyche, and unearthing the secrets hidden within the strange hours. Prepare to be spellbound, to feel the chill run down your spine, and to question what lies beyond the veil of reality. Embrace the unknown, for within the strange hours, extraordinary tales await. Welcome to Strange Hour Stories.
It was a quiet afternoon, probably around 3 o'clock. I found myself driving alone in my car, heading home after attending a birthday celebration of a close friend. The festivities had left me feeling content, but as I continued my journey, an unexpected urge struck. I needed to use the restroom urgently. Scanning the surroundings, I searched for a suitable spot. That's when I noticed an abandoned house, its once vibrant facade now aged and crumbling. With no other options in sight, I decided to pull over and stop my car near the old structure. Stepping out onto the unkempt grass, I moved closer to the abandoned house to find a place to relieve myself. As I did so, the surrounding silence was broken by the distant sound of a child crying. My heart skipped a beat, and I froze, trying to determine if it was real or just a figment of my imagination. The cries seemed to be coming from the direction of the abandoned house. It was odd, considering there was no sign of life around for miles. Confused but concerned, I finished my business and cautiously moved towards the house. As I approached, the crying grew louder, intensifying my sense of unease. The abandoned house loomed over me, and its dilapidated state seemed to add to the eeriness of the situation. The cries sounded so genuine, like a child in genuine distress, and I couldn't shake off the feeling that I needed to investigate further. Ignoring my trepidation, I decided to explore the possibility of someone needing help inside. I took a deep breath, hoping my instincts were leading me to do the right thing. The house creaked and groaned as I approached the window, which was barely intact. Looking inside, I noticed that the crying persisted, and I felt a shiver crawl up my spine. The sound seemed to be coming from within the walls of the decaying structure, as if the echoes of the past were haunting the abandoned house. With each step I took closer to the house, the crying grew louder, urging me on. But every time I tried to locate the source of the sound, it seemed to retreat deeper into the shadows, making it impossible to pinpoint. The sense of being manipulated engulfed me, making me question the reality of the situation. Yet, I couldn't ignore the possibility that there might be a child in distress inside the house. Determined to get to the bottom of the mystery, I cautiously entered the old dwelling. The darkness inside enveloped me, and the cries echoed ominously through the hallways. The house felt like a maze of forgotten memories, each corner telling a tale of a time long gone. Despite my growing sense of fear, my curiosity pushed me further into the eerie dwelling. I explored every room, trying to follow the cries, but every time I reached a new location, they seemed to shift elsewhere. It was as if the house itself was playing a sinister game, teasing me with the promise of the truth but withholding it just out of reach. A feeling of dread crept up my spine, and I began to doubt my own sanity. The house seemed to feed on my fear, as if it was alive with malevolent intent. I couldn't help but feel like a puppet, dancing to the tune of unseen hands. Finally, I came to a realization that there was no child inside the house, and the cries were merely echoes of a sorrowful past. The truth hit me like a wave of relief mixed with anxiety, and I decided it was time to leave. As I stepped out of the abandoned house, I couldn't help but feel a lingering sense of unease. The place had left its mark on me, and the experience had etched itself into my memory forever. Returning to my car, I drove away from the haunting house, haunted by the echoes of the abandoned child's cries. The encounter had left me with a newfound appreciation for the mysteries that lay hidden in the forgotten corners of the world, as well as a lingering sense of wonder about the things that remain unseen and untouched.
Thank you for joining us on this mysterious journey. We hope you enjoyed this eerie encounter as much as we did sharing it with you. Did this story send shivers down your spine? Hit the like and share button to let us know you want more spine-tingling tales. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a chilling story from us. Join our community of brave souls. Check out our playlist of other mysterious encounters for more hair-raising experiences. Want to share your own eerie encounter? Leave a comment below or send it to the link below, and we'll feature the spookiest stories in our upcoming videos. If you loved this video, give it a thumbs up. It helps us spread the chills to more curious souls. Thank you again for being a part of our eerie community. Until next time, remember, the light of shared experiences can guide us through the unknown. Stay curious, stay brave, and stay eerie. Again, this is Strange Hour Stories.